Welcome back to the quarterly call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional.
We are diving into what truly feels like a paradigm shift in how large organizations operate. For decades, the ambition of digital transformation was really limited to efficiency. How do we do the same things, but just faster and cheaper?
Right, incremental improvements.
Exactly. But the massive technology keynote that we're looking at today suggests we are firmly past that kind of linear thinking.
We are.
We're now entering an era of profound human augmentation, really, powered by a brand new wave of generative AI tools that just fundamentally change the nature of work.
That's the core thesis, exactly, and it's a compelling one. This is not about optimizing a process by, a few percentage points.
No.
It's about a complete re-architecture of how business gets done. Our source material frames this as the move from just being a digital company to becoming what they call a frontier firm.
A frontier firm.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. And it involves a strategic, ubiquitous deployment of AI agents. And by agents, we mean tools that can act, decide, and execute, all seamlessly integrated into the workflow.
So we're basically looking at the blueprint for the next decade of how companies are going to be built and run.
That's it. That's the blueprint.
Okay, so our mission today is to really unpack this. We'll start by looking at the foundational roadblocks that have consistently, stunted AI adoption.
The friction points.
The friction points, yeah. Then we'll dissect the new intelligence architecture, these critical IQ layers that empower the agents.
Okay, the brains of the operation.
And finally, we have to tackle the immense and frankly crucial issue of governance. How do you manage a potentially chaotic ecosystem of all these AI agents?
It's a huge question.
It is. It's a lot to process, but understanding this framework is absolutely key to understanding the future of productivity for you and your organization. So let's begin with the philosophical shift.
Yeah.
The leadership in this keynote, they really hammered home that AI is about augmentation, not just automation.
The real promise is enabling things that were, previously considered impossible. This isn't just a productivity boost, it's a cultural change. They specifically referenced eliminating soul-crushing work.
And that phrase, soul-crushing work, that really resonated, didn't it? Because it speaks to the emotional, repetitive, mundane tasks that just drain human creativity and energy.
Totally.
By offloading those things, the complex data aggregation, the manual transcription, the repetitive report generation AI frees up the human workforce to focus entirely on judgment, on strategy, creativity, and high-touch problem solving.
And when you amplify human capacity like that, the implications have to stretch way beyond just individual job roles.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it on a global scale. The convergence of this kind of advanced AI with specialized fields, material science, medical diagnostics, drug discovery, it just fundamentally redefines the speed of innovation.
It's an accelerator, a massive one. When it's deployed strategically, this augmentation drives better growth, which leads to more stable economies, better allocation of capital. It creates opportunity because human workers, instead of being cogs in a machine, become strategic partners to this powerful intelligent system.
Right, because when people can focus on passion and complex problem solving, that's where the real breakthroughs happen.
That's where the magic happens, exactly.
Okay, so that's the big aspirational vision. But let's bring in a necessary reality check here. AI has had the fastest adoption rate of any technology in history, yet the success rate of actual impactful AI projects is, it's stubbornly inconsistent.
It is.
We see a ton of experimentation, but very little sustained scaled success. So what are the common organizational traps that stop companies from making that jump to frontier firm status?
Well, the irony is that the failure almost never stems from the technical capabilities of the AI itself.
Really?
Yeah, it almost always comes down to organizational and foundational misalignment. We identified 4 recurring reasons AI projects just fail to scale.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is a lack of, it's inconsistent alignment between business goals and IT strategy. All too often, the IT department champions some fascinating AI pilot without first tightly linking it to a measurable business KPI.
Like reducing customer churn or increasing sales?
Exactly. Something tangible. If the tech effort doesn't directly feed into the core strategic goals of the business, it just gets viewed as a cost center. And those projects, they inevitably die when the funding tightens. It has to be business-led, not just a cool tech project.
That makes perfect sense. So if the strategy is misaligned, where does the failure usually pop up next? Is it more organizational friction or is it a technical problem?
It's the technical foundation.
Right.
Specifically, a perennial headache. Poor data quality.
Ah, the classic.
The classic. Look, even the most powerful large language models are only as good as the context they're grounded in. If the organization's internal data, the emails, the spreadsheets, the legacy databases, is fragmented, siloed, or just full of inconsistencies, the AI results become unreliable. Or worse, they're outright misleading.
So the developers end up spending all their time just cleaning up the data mess.
An unsustainable amount of time. They're trying to rationalize and clean data instead of building new capabilities. A solid AI effort demands a unified, clean, and well-governed data foundation, period.
Okay, and once a company manages the alignment and the data, they often run headlong into the maze of regulation and risk, right?
That's the third major hurdle: governance and regulatory requirements. The second, an AI project, touches sensitive customer data, employee health records, critical financial decisions.
It's a whole new ballgame.
It lands squarely in the jurisdiction of organizational policy and, increasingly, legal frameworks like GDPR, IPR, or the new AI Acts. If governance defining boundaries, tracking inputs and outputs, ensuring compliance, if that's not built in from day one, the most impactful projects get sidelined by the risk assessment teams.
So it becomes a case of, we know this works, but we can't prove it's safe.
Precisely.
And the final reason, it seems to speak to the excitement around the technology just sort of overtaking the practical application of it.
Yeah, it's the overemphasis on experimentation. We've seen this before in other tech waves. Companies sponsor dozens of small, isolated, random acts of innovation just to feel like they're part of the AI movement.
Right, AI theater.
AI theater,
Yeah.
exactly. But these pilots lack a strategy to actually put the tools to use at scale across the entire enterprise. So the ROI just remains elusive until the firm commits to comprehensively redesigning its core business processes around these new capabilities.
So if those are the pitfalls, what are the actionable strategies that the frontier firms, the successful ones, have in common? What's their framework?
Their success is built on four interconnected pillars, all ensuring that AI delivers measurable outcomes. The first is a fierce focus on the employee experience.
Okay.
This means attracting the best talent and then arming them with world-class AI-infused tools. Not as an optional perk, but as an integrated part of their work, tied directly to measurable KPIs. You give your best people maximum leverage.
And that internal strength is then channeled to provide a better external offering.
Exactly. The second pillar is the augmented customer experience. Frontier firms use AI for real-time engagement, offering personalization and responsiveness that was just impossible before. This lets them build much better customer relationships, achieving better business results while operating with a better cost structure.
So the AI handles the speed and the volume, and the humans handle the complexity and the emotional connection.
You got it.
Now, the third pillar, reshaping business processes, that feels like the real inflection point. Moving beyond just, incremental efficiency, what does it mean to make a process AI first?
This is where the real commitment is shown. You can't just take a workflow designed in the analog age, a series of manual handoffs and paper trails, and just bolt a chatbot onto the end and expect a revolution. To be AI first, you look at the entire workflow, end to end, and you ask, if I assume an autonomous intelligent agent can do steps C, D, and E instantly and accurately, what does the rest of the process look like? It means redesigning the entire sequence around the agent's capability. You move human workers into oversight, validation, and strategy roles rather than forcing the agent to conform to a 20th century manual model. That's a radical shift.
And the final piece is turning that transformation into a real competitive advantage.
That's competitive innovation. This is about harnessing AI not just to catch up, but to pull ahead. Whether it's using generative models to accelerate code writing by hundreds of %, or speeding up drug discovery from years to months, or advancing specialized fields like material science, it shifts AI from being an expensive utility into a core innovation engine that creates sustainable, hard-to-replicate advantages.
So the core message here is that it's less about the specific tech stack you choose.
And much more about making that fundamental mindset shift. It has to be a business-led transformation, just fully empowered by AI.
Okay, so if the mindset is the driver, the goal is to actually realize this democratization of intelligence, right? To put genuine executable AI assistance into the hands of every worker, not just the data science team. The platform centers this whole effort around the AI assistant known as Copilot. But this isn't just an isolated piece of software, is it? The design is crucial. It needs to be where the user already is.
Precisely. The core design philosophy completely rejects the idea of forcing users to jump out of their flow of work, to constantly cut, paste, and reprompt in a separate chat window.
We all hate that.
Everyone hates that. Copilot has to be deeply infused, seamlessly embedded into the productivity tools people use every single day. Their email, their spreadsheets, their business systems. It needs to feel less like a tool you open and more like an intelligence layer that is just there helping.
But to be effective in a company's setting handling sensitive tasks, it needs a much deeper intelligence layer than, say, a generic consumer chatbot. So what's the fundamental architecture that makes Copilot work ready?
That deeper layer is something they call Work IQ. This is the foundational intelligence layer that allows Copilot and the specialized agents it controls to have true contextual awareness.
Okay, Work IQ.
Yeah. It enables the system to genuinely know the user, to understand their specific job function, and to grasp the entire context of the company, securely connecting everything that matters inside the organization. Work IQ is what makes the AI personalized, powerful, and actually relevant to the mission of the firm.
Okay, let's break that down. You said there are three critical components that make up Work IQ: data, memory, and inference. Let's start with data.
So data is the raw fuel, and it's the organization's single biggest differentiator. We're talking about more than just numbers in a database. We mean the whole of the internal organizational knowledge, the complex email chains, the meeting transcripts, the internal docs, the critical records in your CRM or ERP systems.
So all the unstructured stuff that's usually impossible to search.
Exactly. This vast sea of data codifies exactly how work gets done in that firm. Work IQ's first job is to securely unlock all of it, putting the organization's most valuable asset to work for the user in real time.
Okay, and then there's memory, which stops the AI from being just a one-off tool.
Memory is what delivers the personalized experience. It allows Copilot to move beyond generic responses and tailor its suggestions based on the user's past actions, their habits, their specific style. It doesn't just track single tasks. It understands and maps the entire workflow, remembering how different tools and steps fit together.
So it's proactive.
It's proactive and relevant to what you're doing right now.
And inference seems to be the critical connector between those two, the engine that predicts what you need next.
Exactly. Inference uses the rich signals from the combined data in memory stores to generate actionable insights. It doesn't just synthesize information, it predicts the next best action in a complex workflow. Or, crucially, it recommends and calls upon the most appropriate specialized agent for a specific job. It's the intelligent director for the whole ecosystem.
Now, this structure of pulling internal data might sound a bit familiar to people who have dealt with legacy systems and data connectors. Why is Work IQ fundamentally different?
This is a key technical and security differentiator, and it's really critical to understand this. Traditional simple connectors, they pull fragmented data. They rely on brittle, predefined schemas, treating each piece of data in isolation.
So if a process changes or data is missing, the whole thing breaks.
The whole thing breaks, and you get stale or contextless answers. Work IQ is built directly into the enterprise layer, so it can operate across all data in real time, accessing the full, rich context instantly.
But what about security? That seems like a huge risk.
Well, that's the crucial advantage. Work IQ respects all user permissions from the outset. It's bound by your identity.
Yeah.
A traditional connector might accidentally expose data because it was given broad manual access. Work IQ ensures that the AI agent only sees what the human user is already authorized to see. This lets it understand the whole picture securely and instantly, delivering accurate results that legacy connectors just can't replicate without massive compliance risk.
So if Copilot is the orchestrator and Work IQ is the brain, the actual heavy lifting, the task automation, that's handled by specialized AI agents, the sources predict a future where organizations rely heavily on an ecosystem of these agents.
That's right. The agent ecosystem is where the real business value happens. These specialized agents take on defined workflows and automate specific, complex processes that were previously human-only tasks. Copilot is the high-level front end that directs this growing network of intelligence.
Okay, we have a superb illustrative example from the keynote that demonstrates exactly how this multi-agent system works under pressure. Let's dig into the story of the Zaffa t-shirt rush. It's about a COO named Zoe who gets an urgent, massive order.
Right, in a traditional firm, this urgent order for 20,000 t-shirts would just spark chaos. You'd have a flurry of internal calls, people digging through siloed inventory systems, trying to cross-reference past client communications, manual quote generation.
A total mess.
A total mess. Here, the system provides immediate help. Zoe gets the urgent email, and Copilot immediately performs what they call initial triage. It uses Work IQ to scan her related internal communications emails, recent meetings, open tasks, and it pulls company context on this specific client
So it knows who they are and why this is important.
instantly, and it infers her primary goal: fulfill the order quickly and accurately. The AI proactively recommends a custom company-built agent designed for deep customer insights, so Zoe immediately understands the client's history and profitability. Then she uses her internal communication platform to mobilize her key people, Analyst Anne and Sales Lead Nidra.
Okay, so the pressure is now on analyst Anne to figure out the logistics of fulfilling such a huge rush order, which seems like it would involve multiple facilities.
And Anne's task is typically super tedious. She realizes 20,000 units is too big for any single production facility, so she needs to create a complex dynamic allocation plan. But instead of starting from scratch, she invokes agent mode in Excel.
Agent mode in Excel.
Yeah, and this is critical. The agent is designed to speak Excel natively. It understands formulas, cell relationships, complex data formatting. So the agent quickly whisked up a dynamic spreadsheet plan, breaking the large order into smaller, feasible pieces and allocating them across several production facilities.
And it didn't just dump raw numbers into a sheet.
No, not at all. It generated a detailed spreadsheet complete with the financial formulas, a detailed breakdown by facility, and even conditional formatting that gave a clear green flag visualization confirming the order could be met.
And it's all auditable.
Totally. The agent provides a full history of its calculations and its reasoning, which guarantees transparency for Anne. This is an agent doing high-level numerical analysis directly within the user's preferred tool.
That dramatically speeds up the logistics. Now the burden shifts to the sales lead, Nidra, to get the, quote, drafted, which usually involves a ton of complex pricing and shipping variables.
So Nidra opens her standard sales, quote, template and activates agent mode. The agent pulls the basic variables from the customer's email, the quantity, the address, but then, because of Work IQ, it reaches across the entire work context. It instantly retrieves vital internal data that was not in the email,
Like what?
like current shipping costs for that region, specific discounted pricing tiers for this client's historical volume, up-to-date tax info, all the stuff that normally takes forever to look up.
Right.
The agent then leverages all this combined context to co-write the complex sales quote in moments. Nidra is still in the crucial oversight role, reviewing the totals, ensuring the language is right, but the heavy lifting of calculation and data retrieval is instantaneous.
So in this example, the whole team drafted and sent this complex, accurate quote, leading to a successful delivery.
Of 20,000 shirts, all achieved in under 2 minutes of actual human effort.
That is compelling. But let's pause for a second. For Zoe, Anne, and Nidra, having that routine, complex coordination automated, it fundamentally changes their role. What's the skill shift there?
It shifts their focus from data processing to strategic validation. And doesn't need to be a macro expert in Excel anymore. She needs to be an expert in recognizing supply chain risks and validating the agent's logic.
And Nidra isn't manually cross-referencing price tables.
No, she needs to be an expert in customer relationship strategy and, quote, negotiation. The skill shift is from execution to judgment, which is the core promise of getting rid of that soul-crushing work.
This SAFA example really proves that innovation is no longer restricted to a small team of, specialized high-cost developers. The source material calls this making innovation a superpower of many.
Right. And the core strategy is bringing these AI tools directly into the flow of work, empowering the person who is closest to the actual problem or opportunity.
Which maximizes responsiveness.
It does. If a store manager sees a local inventory issue, they shouldn't have to wait 6 months for the central IT team to build a solution. They should be empowered to address it themselves. And this is why the platform is targeting the citizen developer, the domain expert who doesn't have a traditional coding background.
So let's look at the tools for this citizen developer, starting with the application builder.
The application builder removes a huge amount of friction from creating an app. It lets any non-coder create a sophisticated, functional, visually rich application in minutes, right inside their existing productivity environment.
And crucially, they start with their existing data.
They start with their existing organizational data charts, files, meetings, which are all inherently infused with that Work IQ context. The keynote showed a great example of a store manager who needed to improve shift scheduling. The manager just described what they wanted in natural language. I need a staffing app that shows shift availability, tracks PTO, and gives me a visual dashboard.
And the builder just did it.
The application builder immediately generated a sophisticated functional dashboard that inherently understood the business structure of the store because it was using the store's existing data sources. This just bypasses the bottleneck of centralized IT development.
And when a citizen developer needs to build an autonomous agent that executes a workflow across multiple systems, they turn to Copilot Studio.
Right. Copilot Studio is the low-code agent builder that is business-aware from the ground up. Because it's tied to Work IQ and the enterprise security identity, any agent built here is authorized to take secure, real action within the company.
And the example here was the shift swap agent.
The perfect example. A team member emails in sick. The agent, built in Copilot Studio, automatically gets that email, identifies the gap, connects to the HR system to find available team members with the right skills,
Contacts them automatically.
contacts a suitable replacement, confirms their availability, updates the schedule, and then just notifies the store manager that the issue is resolved.
Yeah.
It automates what used to be a chaos-inducing hour-long manual process into a secure self-executing workflow.
So while the citizen developer gains this new power, the professional developer is still at the frontier, solving the world's most complex technical problems, but now they're armed with incredible leverage.
Incredible leverage, yes. Developers have always been the core innovators, and AI is now providing super leverage. GitHub Copilot's adoption has been explosive. It is now the single largest contributor of code to the entire GitHub codebase globally.
Wow.
Yet developers are fundamentally changing how they write and deploy code. But developers want choice in the foundational models they use, and enterprises need consistent control over those models.
Which is why they introduced Agent HQ.
Exactly. Agent HQ acts as the central governance and orchestration hub for all coding agents. It gives developers the flexibility to use models from various labs, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, whatever, while ensuring consistent governance, security, and observability across all of them.
And it's all integrated into their existing workflow.
Fully integrated. We saw an example with a developer named Kyle. He used a custom front-end coding agent to tackle a, frankly, boring but important UI task, making the retail website mobile-friendly. He just asked the agent to start work, and it handled the complex, repetitive task, freeing him up.
And it helps with security, too.
Massively. When a security alert was flagged by the system's security platform, Kyle used the integrated Copilot to remediate the issues, generating precise, vetted fixes in a single pull request. This accelerates both innovation and the organization's security posture.
Okay, this entire structure of innovation, from the citizen developers app to Kyle's coding agents, it all rests on a complex, three-part technical foundation. We've covered Work IQ, but now we have to understand the other two interconnected intelligence layers, Fabric IQ and Foundry IQ.
This trinity of IQ layers is the non-negotiable architectural core that makes these agents executable, accurate, and governed. So as a reminder, Work IQ provides the context about individuals, their workflows, and their security identity.
Right.
The next layer is Fabric IQ. This builds on top of semantic models that encode the fundamental business logic of the organization. Its role is highly sophisticated. It moves well beyond simple analytics. Fabric IQ ensures that humans and AI agents share the exact same real-time understanding of what a business term means.
And it achieves this by connecting all the data in a unified repository called OneLake.
Right, and let's elaborate on OneLake, because that's key to solving the old data integration problem. Traditional data management relies on copying, moving, transforming data every time a new system needs access. It's a mess of data silos and latency.
ETL hell.
Exactly. OneLake solves this with a zero-copy data architecture. Instead of moving data, it creates a single, logical data lake. Whether your data lives in Snowflake or a legacy Oracle system, it appears and functions as if it's in one place. This lets Fabric IQ instantly access and normalize it without latency or data duplication.
And Fabric IQ uses that unified data to give agents a shared meaning. How did they illustrate why that was so necessary?
The example was crystal clear. An agent was asked to identify markets with high demand. Without Fabric IQ, the agent produced a useless generic answer. Why? Because it didn't know what high demand meant to that specific company.
Did it mean high web traffic, high sales?
Exactly. Was it high conversion rate, high average order value? The agent had no idea. Only after Fabric IQ provided that shared semantic business understanding encoding the business logic that high demand means a combination of sales velocity, customer lifetime value, and low return rates, all sourced from OneLake. Only then did the agent produce an actionable, confident recommendation.
Like suggesting Boston for a new pop-up store.
Precisely. That's the difference between a generic LLM answer and a reliable, actionable business insight.
Okay, so finally we get to Foundry IQ, which sounds like the central reasoning and orchestration hub for the agents themselves.
Foundry IQ is the highest layer of intelligence. It's designed to aggregate and reason across all knowledge, sources structured data from Fabric IQ, unstructured documents from SharePoint, web context from Bing. It's described as the first large-scale enterprise implementation of context engineering.
Which extends the standard RA or retrieval augmented generation capability.
It does. You know, RAG is the system that fetches relevant documents to ground an LLM's response and prevent hallucinations. Foundry IQ takes this much further, enabling agents not just to retrieve, but to plan, reason, and iterate on complex tasks using that secured, grounded knowledge. It's the central nervous system for the entire multi-agent ecosystem.
And this architecture relies on broad ecosystem partnerships for choice and specialized capabilities. The keynote highlighted collaborations with Anthropic and Adobe.
The Anthropic partnership is critical for customers who want model choice and high performance. Their advanced models, Sonnet and Opus, are now fully available on the Foundry platform. The strategic advantage here is you can combine Anthropic's powerful reasoning capabilities, what they call Claw, with the platform's trusted enterprise knowledge via Work IQ and Fabric IQ.
So you get the best of both worlds.
You do. This combination lets a customer execute a complex business process end-to-end, like asking an agent to create a full executive summary for a new SOC line. It requires finding market context, pulling internal sales data, and generating a professional, secure PDF output, all in one automated flow.
And the Adobe collaboration focuses on creative workflows and all that unstructured data trapped in PDFs.
Correct. Adobe is partnering across creative, business docs, and marketing tech. With PDFs being the universal language of business, integrating tools like Acrobat is essential for unstructured data. And crucially, the partnership emphasizes interoperability. Adobe is enabling its Firefly generative AI model to work seamlessly with Copilot, and at the same time, tools like Photoshop now support third-party models like OpenAI within their apps.
So it's an open, heterogeneous stack.
It has to be. That's what the modern enterprise demands.
Yeah.
Now, the pace of innovation we've just detailed, this democratization of intelligence and the rapid proliferation of agents, it brings with it an immense governance challenge. The prediction that 1.3 billion agents will be deployed by 2028 creates this massive tension between the desire for innovation and the need for control. And at scale, the problem of shadow AI becomes, well, inevitable.
We've long dealt with shadow IT, where employees use unauthorized software, but shadow AI sounds exponentially riskier, given these agents are processing and acting on sensitive data.
It is significantly riskier. Shadow AI happens when employees lacking integrated, secure internal tools turn to consumer-grade or personal AI tools for their work. It's a massive compliance headache.
You can imagine.
It introduces severe risks. Catastrophic data loss, compliance gaps with laws like GDPR or HIPAA, and critical security vulnerabilities when you're feeding proprietary, sensitive information into external models. To fix this, IT teams have to transition from being purely restrictive guardians to becoming strategic enablers, providing a secure, integrated AI path that employees will actually want to use.
So to manage this agent explosion safely, a new infrastructure layer is needed, the agent control plane. This is Agent 365. What is its role in safely scaling agents across a whole company, regardless of who built them or where they run?
Agent 365 has 5 core functions to regain control. The first is visibility. This provides a single, trusted agent registry, a comprehensive inventory that lists every single agent in use across the enterprise. It tracks them by name, platform owner, their security risk profile, and crucially, their exact data access permissions.
You can't govern what you can't see.
You can't govern what you can't see. That's step 1.
Okay, what follows visibility?
Second is robust access control. This ensures permission boundaries are strictly enforced, not just on the data itself, but as data moves between people, between agents, and between applications. This dynamic enforcement is crucial. Third is ecosystem monitoring, which gives IT teams easy-to-digest dashboards to see usage trends, identify risks, and manage the entire agent estate from one place.
And to really be a control plane, it has to handle agents built outside the main platform.
That's the fourth function, interoperability. Agent 365 provides first-class support for the platform's core apps and Work IQ, but it's built to fully interoperate with custom agents, partner agents, agents running on other clouds. It recognizes the reality of modern IT. The stack is rarely monolithic.
And the fifth, most critical piece,
Security. proactive threat detection and response, ensuring data loss prevention by deeply integrating with existing security products like Defender for Cloud and Purview.
Let's look closer at that security integration, because this is where the theory really meets the threat. The sources give a detailed scenario with a security analyst, Irina, working in her Defender portal.
This scenario showed a great layered defense in action. Irina gets coordinated alerts that synthesize information from various security tools. First, the system flagged a sophisticated jailbreak attempt.
Someone trying to trick an agent.
Exactly. Trying to trick a procurement agent into bypassing its internal pricing safeguards. This wasn't a simple prompt. It used context and coercion to try and subvert the agent's core instructions. But critically, the Foundry guardrails, the protective rules governing the agent, automatically identified the malicious intent and blocked the attack.
So the system's internal defenses held.
They held. But the defense was multi-pronged. Defender for Cloud also confirmed a high-priority phishing alert that was specifically targeting the agent with a malicious web link. The platform immediately blocked it.
And what about data loss?
Simultaneously, the data security component, Purview, which monitors sensitive data, identified and blocked the procurement agent from sharing a secret file about Project Ryan with an unauthorized party. So this complex real-time coordination identified the threat, blocking the jailbreak, blocking the phishing link, and preventing data loss, all happened automatically and was logged for Irina in her security portal. That deep integration is fundamental to safely scaling millions of agents.
It's clear that IT and security pros gain immense control. But what about the developers actually building these agents? Do they have control over their creations?
They do. They're given powerful management tools through the Foundry control plan. This is vital for quality assurance. Developers get prioritized alerts and quality metrics specific to agent performance, like task adherence, did the agent follow the steps? And groundedness was the answer based on secure, reliable internal data.
And it helps them manage costs, too.
A huge part of it. They get evaluation tools to confidently compare different foundational models. The source showed a fascinating example. A developer could run an evaluation that showed a negligible difference in quality between two models, but realized that switching from a heavyweight GPT-4 variant to a lighter 4.0 mini model resulted in a 13x cost saving.
Wow.
That capability ensures that as agent usage scales, organizations can optimize for both performance and budget at the same time.
With the architecture and governance in place, let's ground this in real-world impact. Starting with healthcare, where embedding AI into the clinical workflow is immediate and deeply personal.
Oh, the medical field is where time savings translate directly into better patient outcomes. For clinician efficiency, doctors are using AI to handle the flood of administrative work, responding to patient questions faster, generating essential documentation like detailed shift notes and complex discharge summaries. This directly addresses physician burnout.
And the regulatory friction that often delays treatment, it seems like AI is dissolving that.
Absolutely. Health systems are reporting a massive, crucial time saving, a 30 to 40% reduction in the time required to generate medication prior authorizations.
That's huge.
It is. In the old world, that process was a manual, frustrating, multi-day bottleneck. When AI accelerates it, patients get their necessary medications and treatments much faster. But the greatest impact is in enhanced care. AI charting systems can now capture the entire natural conversation between a doctor and a patient during an exam, transcribing it instantly into comprehensive clinical notes. But more than that, the system automatically tees up subsequent orders and follow-ups, like specialist referrals or physical therapy requests.
So the doctor can focus entirely on the patient.
On face-to-face interaction. And crucially, studies cited in the source showed that doctors using these systems discovered information they would have missed 28% of the time with manual review. The AI is acting as an unparalleled second pair of cognitive eyes, improving diagnostic completeness.
Moving from the clinic to the global manufacturing floor, Mercedes-Benz provides a comprehensive enterprise-wide example of the frontier firm in action. They're calling AI their best digital colleague.
And their story shows scale and ubiquity. For internal efficiency, they dramatically increased Copilot licenses across the whole organization. Their teams, including non-IT groups, have already created 52 automated workflows using Copilot Studio. For example, a finance team, not IT, automated their invoicing process end-to-end.
And they're professional developers.
They saw a monumental 70% increase in engagement with GitHub Copilot. Their coders are spending their time on creative problem solving, while AI handles the necessary but repetitive code generation.
And this extends beyond the office into their physical operations.
That's right. For frontline operations, they're using AI to connect their passenger plants across the world, analyzing both real-time sensor data and historic manufacturing data to pinpoint and improve efficiency bottlenecks. They're also using AI for sustainability.
Mm.
AI models trained in Azure analyze sensor data in their paint shops to optimize temperature and humidity controls. This intelligent optimization resulted in a documented 20% reduction in energy consumption in those critical areas.
And even the core product, the vehicle itself, is being transformed into a third workspace.
The integration is deep. The Hey Mercedes voice assistant is now powered by advanced LLMs from OpenAI and Bing. This transforms the car's console into an intelligent, responsive workspace. Drivers can use natural language commands for productivity, checking complex calendars, dictating long emails, all while keeping their eyes on the road.
Now, none of this massive integrated system, the agents, the IQ layers, the speed, none of it is possible without the underlying cloud infrastructure. All of this runs on Microsoft Azure.
Azure is the massive engine powering this whole shift. In terms of scale and performance, they are rapidly expanding data center capacity. They highlighted the new Azure AI Test, a specialized infrastructure that delivers 10 times the performance of the world's fastest supercomputer. That's essential for training these next-gen models.
And that infrastructure innovation is what's driving down the cost of AI.
It is. The price of accessing GPT-4, for instance, has plummeted an astonishing 93% in the last 2 years.
And that scale is being managed with the significant investments in sustainability.
Absolutely. Azure is on track to be powered by 100% renewable energy by the end of this year. They're pioneering zero water waste, closed-loop liquid chilling systems for their data centers. This ensures the massive compute power required for AI is delivered with the lowest possible environmental footprint.
And finally, that infrastructure has to support the unified data architecture we talked about earlier.
And that's where Microsoft Fabric, integrated with WorkIQ and FabricIQ, comes full circle. It provides that unified data foundation. It implements the zero-copy data lake, One Lake, allowing customers to unify data from any source, Oracle, Snowflake, in one logical place without needing to make copies or move data. This central intelligent data repository is what secures and fuels the entire enterprise AI ecosystem.
We've covered a remarkable amount of territory today, really dissecting the technical and organizational blueprints required to turn a company into a frontier firm.
We have. And the 3 defining traits of that frontier firm are clear and actionable. Placing AI in the flow of human ambition, promoting ubiquitous innovation for both prey and citizen developers, and maintaining strict real-time observability at every layer of the stack, managed by tools like Agent 365.
And all of that rests on those foundational building blocks of intelligence and trust. WorkIQ for the individual context, FabricIQ for the shared business understanding, and FoundryIQ for advanced agent reasoning.
It's a strategy that's about nothing less than enabling organizations to achieve their highest aspirations and maximum growth potential through democratized secure intelligence.
So before we wrap up, leave our listeners with one final provocative thought to chew on.
Okay, here's something to consider as you process the depth of this shift. We've seen the rapid rise of AI agents, which are now being managed and governed by other specialized AI tools like Agent 365 and Copilot. What new, yet-to-be-developed layer of oversight, security, and ethics will be fundamentally required when the agents themselves start autonomously deploying other agents, creating and orchestrating complex business goals with very little direct human intervention?
Thank you so much for tuning into the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.